Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Glenn Sam Sloan, hence the GSS, and videos is what I do. And we're here. Might have a bit buzz on the guitar and see if I can concentrate. I don't know if I can. Okay, so um, so yeah, let's have a look. Head underwater, living with Hydrocephalus, K.J. Carson. In fact, I think I might put that light on, but it's a bit dark, don't you think, ladies and gents? Right, let's have a look. I'll see if I can have a read of this. Right, it's all that massive words and it's going to be a bit daunting because it's all like that. Right, and look, I want to thank you all that that I have mentioned in this book. Showing charity, my family and friends, the NHS doctors and nurses at both John Oxford and Royal Books in that have taken care of me over the years. Okay. Okay. A little okay, I know you must be wondering what this is all about, but I promise that will come later. First, I thought it would be nice for you to get to know me. I'm 20 years old. Well, obviously not now, because I'm 20 years old at university and everything, driving all in all a pretty average life. I'm a pretty standard, maybe a little bonkers, or that's what I've been told. I talk a lot even though I'm really shy. I'm kind of one of the lads. I'm kind of one of the lads in some respect. I like action movies, fast cars, guns, explosions, and fire. I sound like I should be Miss Bruce. Well, I can't read that one. For those of to the show, it's a group of 5 people who test out intercoms of 5 people intercoms MYTHS etc. and prove or disprove it with sentences and cool explosive measures. Sounds also awesome, right? Anyway, I don't think smoke or take drugs I don't drink or take drugs or anything. I'm a somewhat I'm a somewhat conventional member of Western social. Oh, really, really I draw, write, and love animals. So that's me in brief. Not that interesting. Well, keep reading. It gets better. I swear I I may not sound all that different from you, but that's the point, really. I'm not that different on the outside. Medical mumbo jumbo. Although, all right, then time to explain exactly what hydrocephalus actually is. Hydrocephalus in basic terms means fluid on the brain. You untreated it can cause several learning disabilities, um, or even death. Morbid, I know, but that's the truth of it. Not as com, com, commonly not as commonly spoken, but about not as commonly spoken about as certain as a condition such as I'll read that one. ECZEMA or but it is a lifelong thing, and I think it's about time you lot got clued in. Clued, CLUED. Moving on to an overall of the condition as a whole. There are three main ways in you can end up having this condition. You can be born with it. You can be born with the condition, which is called hydrocephalus or CONGENT. No, CONG. No, CONGENT and IT or AOL. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. I'm not very good at spelling. CONGENITAL, hydrocephalus, or contract it later through an injury or illness. Another thing is hydrocephalus. You can be born with hydrocephalus, but it can also lay dormant for so many years and choose to show itself later on in life. Which I don't think it says it in here. I can't really read these writings. This one it's not easy for me to read, but I'm giving it a go. Later. Hello, is that Gareth? Yeah, it must be Gareth. Hello, Gareth. Sniffles. Reviewed as So how are you doing? That the third type, mainly, I thought it was, are you your sister, your brother, your mum's, or are you at home? Are you at home or are you with your mum and your sister? Main third type mainly occurs in older people. Okay, it does, and is known as normal pressure hydrocephalus. Well, hang on, I was born with normal pressure hydrocephalus, so that's not quite right. You can be born with normal pressure hydrocephalus. You don't have to develop it later on in life. The symptoms of hydrocephalus differ slightly depending on the type of conditional. My mum's okay. She's at the moment housebound at the moment because my car's off. I'm off the road. My car, I need to get a new car and get back on the road after sort of my head out with this depression, get out of this depressive state. You know what I mean? So yeah, how's you and your family? Hydrocephalus symptoms include an enlarged head, permanent veins on the skull, balance or tendons from the, I can't read that bit. The gaps in the skull before the plate fuses when you're older. Good, thanks. I've applied for a position as a lollipop lady. How can you apply for a lollipop lady? You're a man. Do you mean you applied as a lollipop man? Did you hear about the old man? Did you hear about the man that went for a job at a lollipop man, right? He only had one eye, so he went for this job interview, right? And the employer said, because you only got one eye, you can't have the job. So that's not fair. So they could have put me in one way straight. Oh, are they now? They're taking anyone. What? Yeah, but lollipop ladies are not always ladies. They're also going to be men. So it's not actually politically correct to say lollipop lady or lollipop man. It's lollipop persons. You've got to move with the times. Right? I mean, you've got to move with the times. Lollipop persons. Yeah, it's a bit like nowadays. Right? For years there was only two genders, male and female, but now there's loads. So now it's like he, she, or them. I mean, are you off now? Why are you off for, boy? Oh, don't leave me, you. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Well, are you with your sister, Gareth? Or are you at home? got a 5 minute cycle. What you're going to your mum's? 5 minute cycle to your mum's, or 5 minute cycle to town, or something like that. You're at home at the moment. You're going to your mum's, or you're going to the town on the bike. Mile to. Alright. Okay. Okay. Bye bye, buddy. Bye bye. Say. Okay. So Mr. Gareth was saying bye bye to me, but he's still watching me. Can you leave? You can't leave this. Can't you leave this sexy face? Can you leave the sexy person here? Sexy face. Well, what was it? Hydrocephalus symptoms include an enlarged head, prominent veins on the scalp, skull before scalp, a blood blocking of tendons and tentacles. Whatever that is, I can't read that. FONTANELLE. The gaps in the skull before the plate fuses when you're older, settling sun sign of the eyes muscle, spasms, poor feeding, vomiting, and I can't read that. A lot to take in, I know. Some of these words I can't actually read them, ladies and gents. Hydrocephalus, hydrocephalus. The symptoms include headaches, a headache that may be worse in the morning after waking up, or as the condition progresses. The headaches may become constant, or other symptoms include neck pain, vomiting, nausea, dizziness, which can progress into a coma. Changes in your mental state, such as confusion, plus blurred vision, or double vision, definitely walking, or not being able to control your bladder. Last but not least, normal pressure. Hydrocephalus symptoms include a change in how you walk, shuffling or freezing when you want to move. Again, not being able to control your bladder or normal thinking process. Also start to slow down, which could mean being slow to respond to a question. Slower reactions or slower. Okay. There's one thing I've just learned here. I've always wondered why. Hang on, let me get it back. Being to control your bladder. I've already knew about that one, but I don't have a problem with that as such. I can control that. Normal thinking pressures. Also that also starts to slow down, which last but not least, normal pressure hydrocephalus symptoms. Those include a change in how you walk. Yes, I've seen that. I've noticed that myself. Shuffling, yeah, or freezing when you want to move on. Yes. I've heard all this so far. I can confirm that is true because a lot of the time I freeze when I want to move on. I just want to move, but I can't. I'm kind of stuck there. Alright. When you want to move, again, not being able to control your bladder. I can control my bladder. I can control it to a certain extent. If I don't go there and then, I can still hold it, but it would take a lot of effort to hold it for me. Normal thinking pressures also starts to slow down, which could mean being slow to respond to a question, slow reactions, or slower. Pressuring speeds of information. This can often be mistaken for signs of dementia. Oh yeah, it can normally be. It can be mistaken for signs of dementia because normal pressure hydrocephalus is actually a form of dementia. It is not dementia, but it's a form of dementia. I could write a book just on symptoms. There are so many. If you don't understand any of those symptoms, you can look them up. They are all real words, I swear. When in doubt, Google or a good old-fashioned dictionary will do. But the good news is that hydrocephalus is treatable, not curable. Alright, but I've seen videos on YouTube talking about hydrocephalus, right? And they go that they can cure hydrocephalus with a shunt. They can't cure hydrocephalus with a shunt. Hydrocephalus is going to be there. It's going to be controlled by the shunt, right? So it's treatable. It's going to be controlled by a shunt. In fact, my hydrocephalus is controlled by 2 shunts, right? Can be treated through a symptom called a shunt. Can be treated by a system called a shunt, or something called a endoscope. ETV or ETV is uh, ETV is basically the I can't read that bit, that word, of an opening or hole in the floor of the third ventricle, which is just above a part of the brain called the high we don't even seen that word. I didn't know this, so I need to concentrate on that word. Using an endoscope, the main adventure of treatment so is still a shunt. A shunt is which drains the fluid CSF from the obstruction and is into the bloodstream. It's made up of a system of tubes which valve to control the rate of drainage, prevent the fluid flowing back into CRANIUM. It is put in sausage. Surgically, put in surgically, so that the upper end is in a vertical of the brain. The lower end leads into vein locations depending on what type of shunt the patient has, and there are loads of different types of shunts. The tube can drain to the heart, which regulates VA, so I can't read this, or regulates anyway, that sort of shunt is called a VA shunt, or into the abdomen, which requires a VP shunt. Me personally, I've only had VP shunts, so my shunt goes from the brain ventricle right down to my abdomen. And there's so many different types of VP shunts. There's non-breakable VP shunts, and then there's a rebreakable VP shunt. And I've got both. I've got the non-rebreakable shunt, and I've got the rebreakable shunt. So it means this one here is not breakable, reprogrammable shunt, but this one here is. That means this one's the new one. It actually, new, it's been months for a couple of years, but it's the newest one I've got. And I was lucky to get it. There is a VP. There is the VP and a VA shunt mentioned above. Another is a lumbar LP shunt, which like the VP shunt drains into the abdominal cavity. there are two or more vertical VPL shunt and VC shunt. The VPL shunt drains into the cavity in the lowest section of the lungs, and the VC shunt drains into the space between the brain and the skull. Called oh my god, I didn't hear of an easy shunt. I thought there's only two shunts, only two types, but there's not, there's loads. Fish, oh, I can't read that. Alright, okay, skip to the other bit here. Right, so that's the overall behind the overall behind the overall science behind the condition, but living through the surgeries is an even bigger story. If you believe me, it can even more be complicated than all the big words and confusing symptoms. I should know because I've lived with hydrocephalus my whole life. I'm what they call a shunt. My whole life, I'm what they call a shunt. Yeah, okay, I'm the same. I've lived with it my whole life, so okay, I'm what they call a shunt. I'm a shunt. Dependent. I'm what they I know because I've lived with hydrocephalus my whole life. I'm what they call shunt dependent. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now. I'm also shunt dependent, which I mean shunt dependent. When I was told, I understood this to mean I could not and would not survive having the condition without the system to drain the excess fluid. For me, great. I need to get my hair cut, and that's why I'm itching, because every time my hair gets quite long, I get itchy. I bet you thought the win would never end, but it's better if you know the science, then you understand more of what I'm talking about. Anyway, hydrocephalus is manufacturally rare, but it's even more uncommon in girls, apparently. So I suppose that's why people don't really understand what it is. I have the required kind, so I think I should begin with an explanation of how I developed hydrocephalus in the first place. Well, yeah, hydrocephalus is more common in men and boys, in boys, because I don't know why. Well, it's more common in boys than it is in girls. I don't know why. Maybe because apparently according to the doctors, what they said to me, boys are lazy, girls are more upfront and more outgoing, outspoken. Um, Guys, gentlemen, right? Do you agree with that? Do you think that we're lazy? Do you think the male population is lazy? No, I don't. I don't. I just think that's the doctors saying that we're lazy, so I don't have to look into it, really. Hydrocephalus in the first place. Before I was born, my mum suffered from a oh my god, I can't read that. So this, this caused me to have a brain hemorrhage, which shortly led me developing hydrocephalus. She'd suffered from before with my brother, but it was worse this time round. I should have been born in September 1994, but oh, so he's younger than me. But because of my mum being so ill and that affecting me, I was born in June. Instead, being born so early meant I was small, really small. I'm not kidding. I apparently weighed about a pound or half a bag of sugar. I was smallest baby in Britain back then. Moving on from my brief whirlwind of starborn, where I had a brain hemorrhage or bleed, which caused me to develop hydrocephalus. My type is known as obsessive and just means that my body isn't effect, enough in as I'll read that. The spinal fluid or CSF for the first year of my life. I was in and out of hospital. I think I spent maybe a week or so at home in the last year. In that year, I was born in Oxford, John Radcliffe Hospital, and then after we were both stable, Mum and I were transferred to Reading Royal Bucks so that we could be closer to my dad and brother. My brother wasn't coping with us being so far away. Anyway, I had a load of medical issues to compete with in that first year. So also the brain hemorrhage I had caused a vertical hemorrhage. Hemorrhage. This was what caused my hydrocephalus. Like I said, I was very promiscuous, so I had a huge head because of all the fluid to build up. I also ended up having a BOUT, that is of lung discharge for which time I was oxygen dependent. Hello again, how you doing my friends, how you doing? I'm trying to read this book, but I am not very good at reading, so I'm trying my best. So how's everyone doing, ladies and gents? How are you all doing? Because of my lungs being so weak, I caught. Oh my God! I can't read these. I have these words in this book. I cannot read. I cannot read. It's my reading skills are very, very limited. In fact, when I left school, I couldn't read a word. It was down to my mum's ex-boyfriend Peter that taught me to read. Right. So because of my lungs being so weak, I caught a bronchiolitis, which meant I was ventilating. Oh, bugger hell. Blooming hell. That's what sorry, right. For 8 days. Ventilated for 8 days. Got there in the end. Along with all that, I also considered contracted meningitis 3 times. I can't read 3 times, and my weight was severely low. See what I mean? It was never ending. I can't imagine for my family must have felt. I think they are the bravest people I know. I'm not just saying that, I mean it. I think everyone should give their parents, caregivers, etc. a little respect for everything they have to deal with. As we grow up, we walk blissfully unaware through the early dangers of life, realizing just how scary and stressful it all really is. What I mean, I must sound as if I was bragging about it, about all I have, service, and how great my family are. I'm not. It's just my life and my family, my experience. Nothing to brag about. Something I often don't bring up, really. Not much point when you have to explain most of it to people who you're talking to. You end up repeating yourself, then people lose interest and will zone out. Yep. I'm sure you're wondering how the hell I'm going to make a book out of this, and thinking you should have picked.
This is a reminder. Time to
Echo. Echo.
Just let me know.
Echo. Echo. Stop listening to me. Echo. Echo.
Time to play your guitar.
Hang on.
If you've finished it, just let me know you're done with the reminder. Otherwise.
That's what I just unplugged her. So was I going to make a book out of this and thinking you should have picked something else. Well, I promised myself I'd write this, so that's what I'm doing. Anyway, after that first year of scar after scar, first year of scar after scar, and even my first shunt revision, it should only get better, right? As you have a family affair, as you have probably guessed, this chapter is dedicated to my family, who I mentioned earlier. This chapter is more about how they felt when they were told I had suffered a brain hemorrhage and constructed hydrocephalus. Having a child that has a medical condition that's incredible, it's causing and puts constant worry for the family of the child. My family constantly had to face the threat that each day could be my last. When I was little, nowadays they still worry, but I have a better handle on tracking my state and systems now. I have more control and now I know when something is wrong. But in the beginning, it wasn't just me they were worried about. As I said before, my mum was in a pretty bad way too. They could have lost us both at some point. My mum and I were moved from Oxford to Reading, which is much closer to our home, which was because my brother hated us being so far away and was terrified that we wouldn't come home. This way my mum could reassure him my dad worked in Reading at the time and could freely pop in and see us. It was probably a lot less stressful than driving an hour to Oxford all the time. Mum used to play Kenny G music. Oh, who's Kenny G? I don't know who Kenny G is. But I've got to look him up to stay calm in hospital while my brother played at the foot of her bed. To this day, he still likes to listen to it too, and to come and ground himself. Sorry, Greg, but it's true. My aunts, uncles, and my nana come down from Scotland and northern part of England to see us all. It was I can't read that bit. Time of thickness of time for everyone, like I said before, I can't imagine what they were all going through, seeing me in my in, uh, incubator, uh, strapped, uh, stra- strapped and wired to all sorts of machinery, and my mum in the bed. We have a family video and pictures of it all, and I find it wild looking back on it all, because I don't remember why of it remember any of it. I don't remember any of it. They must have thought I could go any day, but I suppose so can anyone. And when I survived all of that and Mum pulled through, what a weight was left, but they still have the fear hanging over them about me and whether something will go wrong with my shunt again. 4 medical condition has dragged them kicking and screaming through waiting games. An unknown something in my head, I can't read that word. If any of my family ever read this, I want to take the opportunity to tell you that I think you are all the best and bravest people I know, and that you will never know how much all your support and love means to me. I need you to know that I am sorry for the fear and suffering I have caused you by being in hospital so much, but was this is tricking me up here. As you know, thank you for going through this with me and never limiting me so that I couldn't become the knowledgeable and adult I am now. Soppy, and I know, but it needs to be said again. Sorry. My God. My parents often tell me that I am here for a reason, that God has saved me time and time again for a special purpose. Whether you believe that is up to you. I'm included to believe in believe them because it's nice. It's not. It sounds nice, and it's better than worrying that it could all circle back and happen again. I actually think, personally, I take this in my stride most of the time. Live a good life rather than worrying that it could all be taken away tomorrow. I say every day is a gift that goes for everyone, not just me. When you have a condition that's rare, it's always worth researching it. There are so many types and treatments and complications. Where do you begin? I only started researching it in the past few years when I felt it was a good idea to learn everything I can. I begin with the overall of the condition, then narrowed it down to the type I have. I know some stuff, but not a lot, considering I've grown up with it. Grown up with this, I found out most of what I know now after left the children's ward in Oxford, which is a few years ago now. Left the experience of the condition turned out to be quite different from what people expect to see. I wasn't expected to have much quality of life. Yeah, I said the same thing. I said the same thing. I'm not. I shouldn't have. I won't have too much good quality of life. I was proposed never to walk, struggled to talk, and have learning difficulties. But in the end, none of that happened. I'm a happy and healthy individual, just like you. I can do anything you can. I divine expression time and time again, and I want to keep that theme going. Having something like Hydrocephalus or any other long-term illness is never straightforward. However, recent difficulty and has different complications. For example, my experience is nothing complicated, nothing compared to stories I've heard on social media and YouTube. That's social media. YouTube is social media. Even meeting someone who is the same age but with a different type of hydrocephalus, but I'll come into that later, may have attracted complications and have had many more shunt revisions than me. I've had 4. I had 4. I've lost count of how much I've had. And this we can get support from my family to count how many shunt operations I've had throughout my life. I was first shunted at 2.5. I've had 4. You certainly learn new things, stories, and measures like and shunt alert cards, yeah, which show what type of shunt a person has and what to do in the event of any emergency. Living with an illness that is hidden from view means it's hard to explain to those of you who don't understand the severity of condition contains. But even when people are told about something, many still don't get it because they haven't lived with it. Well, you know what I say? You know what I say? The nurses and doctors who studied, the experts who studied hydrocephalus in university and in mid school are only expert through the textbook. But hydrocephalus and all the other health conditions out there, they're not a textbook case. They vary from person to person, right? So, for instance, my hydrocephalus and my autism and my 7q11.23 duplication syndrome is going to be, they're all going to be different to other people who's got autism or who's got hydrocephalus or who's got 7q11.23 duplication syndrome. We're going to be all different. I mean, none of which will probably be the same. In fact, everybody I've spoken to who's got autism, who's got hydrocephalus, or who's got 7q11.23 duplication syndrome, we've all been so different. We've never been the same. I would like to meet someone who's got the same condition and it affects us both the same, but I haven't yet seen someone who's not. So because it never affects the person, anyone the same. It always affects us differently. But that's my point, really. It's because they haven't lived with it. That's my point. Really, you can't really relate unless you truly know what someone's going through, whether it's a break up of our relationship or a death of a close friend. The same rule applies to you. Don't really know what someone's going through or what walk of life they are from. I know it's hard, but we all missolve, myself included, need to take a step back and try not to judge others based on our experiences. A quick example is school jabs. But yeah, you know what I've always said when people are quick to judge someone, and so even on social media, I do a lot of things on social media as well as in my personal life, and I tell people who are arguing and have a dislike for someone else, either on social media or off social media. I said, you mustn't judge someone before you get to know that person. You mustn't judge someone before you walk a mile in their shoes, right? Because we do not know their life story, right? Lead, it's called jabs. Lead off people are scared of needles. A load of people are scared of needles. Yeah, a load of people are scared of needles. I'm petrified of needles. Right? But people don't understand how petrified, ladies and gentlemen, I can move.